Welcome back to another episode of the Lego Star Wars Debate Wheel. We're actually not going to be spinning the wheel today. Today's question is coming from one of my followers over on TikTok, Darth Mewtwo 3608. His question is that Young Jedi series needs adult sets, which I wholeheartedly agree with. I think that is a fantastic stance to take for a couple reasons. So for those of you not in the know, there's a series right now on Disney Plus called Young Jedi Adventures. Extremely young target audience for this set. It takes place in the Old Republic era, a few hundred years prior to the Phantom Menace. Yoda is featured in it prominently as one of the instructors for a series of young Jedi in training. Now, the target age for this is genuinely 4 to 8, maybe somewhere in that range. It is very much a young children's set. People complain about Rebels and Clone Wars being young children's cartoons. This is one further step back. This is in line with Bluey and other really young children's TV shows. But it's Star Wars, and Star Wars is cool. I actually, when it came out, I've given the first 2 episodes a shot. I wanted to see what it was about. It's obviously tailored towards young kids. It's not something I'm going to be able to sit through on my own watching as a series. But if you wanted to watch a show with your child and introduce them to the life lessons they teach every episode and have sort of this skin of Star Wars over top of it, seems like a great show. So I do think there's a healthy amount of adults out there who are watching this show to some extent, or it's on in the background of their house because their children are liking watching it. So there was 3 seasons total. I don't believe there's any plans to make more of it, but we've only ever gotten 2 sets from it. And that is the Crimson Firehawk set. I don't have it on hand. I'll put a picture up here. This is the Crimson Firehawk set. It comes with some of the characters from the show as well as this build. And then the other build is the Teenu Jedi Temple, which I actually do have. Teenu Jedi Temple. Ironically, the only Jedi Temple we've ever gotten is from the 4+ Young Children's series. But it's a pretty cool build. It's got some really cool printed pieces on there. Comes with 2 Jedi in High Republic clothing, a young Yoda also in High Republic clothing, and then just an overall little build and a speeder. Nothing to write home about as an adult, but for my purposes, I bought a couple of these just for mock building purposes. I'm going to combine them and add the pieces. Like I said, really cool printed pieces and torsos and characters to do some High Republic stuff with. So those are the only 2 sets we got from that 3-season TV show, which I understand it's a younger audience, but it is kind of crazy. We only got 2 full sets out of it. They're both 4+ sets. Now, the topic of there should be adult sets out of this, I agree with. I think there's probably a healthy amount of adults watching this show alongside their children and giving them something to bond with and something to build together, or that can work in conjunction with these 4+ sets, is really cool. So it just feels like they're cutting out a pretty substantial part of their market by not making an adult play set. I think, first off, everything Lego makes sells, so it'd probably sell regardless, but adults who are having to sit down and watch this show with their children could have a fun build they could do on their own. In addition to, it's just in canon High Republic stuff now. Stuff's sort of up in the air on in canon, out of canon. What are they going to make viable and not viable with Disney taking over? What's going to happen? And this is a first big chunk of time and characters and sets and locations and places that is fully accepted in the Disney universe and is now canon. And not including 1 or 2 adult sets in there is limiting people's ability to explore the High Republic era. Personally, I think like an adult set, sort of like the Yavin set that came out a couple years ago of the Teenu Jedi Temple, would have been really cool. And then giving the kids the smaller sets with ships to build and stuff to play with that then can work in conjunction, but they could stand alone. If you don't want to build a set alongside your kids or you don't want to buy that for yourself, that's fine. But kids are going to grow up watching that show. And so even when they hit 7 or 8, they're done watching the show, they might really like to have a little more substantial build to put together in relation to that they grew up with. Because for a lot of kids, that is going to be their first introduction to Star Wars. Everyone dreams about introducing your child to Star Wars for the first time. If you're a huge Star Wars fan, showing your spouse or your partner or your friends or your kids Star Wars for the first time is such a rewarding experience, but they are a bit to digest, so you do have to wait a bit to get them introduced to that. And this brings that barrier down substantially to a much younger audience. And so that's exciting for people. I think people are going to want to jump on board with that and show their kid this Young Jedi Adventures series. And for a lot of fans, Lego plays a huge part in their appreciation for the Star Wars universe. For me, it plays a massive role. For me, Lego and Star Wars are completely synonymous with each other. It's hard to imagine one without the other. Part of that is growing up with both things at around the same time. So I think some more adult builds. I think there's going to be adult fans of the show out there. I think there's going to be kids growing up with it, kids on that cusp of the age range where they'll watch it and then they'll get older and all of a sudden they're 12. And the nostalgia for them is going to be Young Jedi Adventures to an extent. Just like for me and my generation, it's a lot of Clone Wars and Rebels. For other people, it's going to be the original trilogy. New kids watching Star Wars right now, their nostalgia is going to be Young Jedi Adventures, the sequel trilogy. Star Wars Resistance is a big part of it. We haven't really gotten any sets from Star Wars Resistance. I think that's a huge miss. I think a lot of people hate on that show, which is fine if it's not your style. I don't think it's that bad, but it's got some cool ships and characters and stuff that I think they need to start accepting into the realm because it expands the universe that we have of Star Wars. The show is not going to be continuing. It's got 3 seasons, but the 3rd season just wrapped up in December of 25, so just a few months ago. And we get sets for shows and stuff that have ended well past that all the time with Lego Star Wars. So I don't think it's too late to introduce a few more sets to this, as well as maybe publish an adult or even a young teen set or two that's just slightly more advanced building techniques than the 4+ sets. Let me know what you think. I know a lot of you guys have probably just not even seen Young Jedi Adventures. Again, I only watched a few episodes just so I could sort of get a bearing on who the characters are and where it takes place and what's happening. But I do think a lot of parents and adult fans of Lego out there would jump on board with that as another way to connect with their kid, build sets alongside them, enjoy Star Wars together as a family. I think that is a huge opportunity Lego's missing right now. I really wish adult sets had come out with this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and keep pitching me more controversial takes, hot topics, debate ideas, etc. Love hearing them. I'm not creative enough to think of all these ideas on my own. So let me know, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.